The sky remains shrouded in the pre-dawn gloom, a thick fog cloaking the sea off Cambodia's southern coast like a ghostly shroud. But from the southwest, the piercing wail of naval artillery slices through the silence, tearing the night apart with relentless fury. Explosions erupt from the port of Reem, unleashing torrents of fire and smoke that illuminate the waters beyond the international boundary line. 4 Thai naval squadrons, positioned in a tightening crescent formation, stand poised and unyielding, their guns roaring to life. War wasn't declared with words. It ignited with the thunderous boom of ship cannons and the chilling, deathly silence of Cambodia's radars, caught completely off guard. This marks the moment when Southeast Asia awakens to a battlefield that has crossed an irreversible threshold. What destiny awaits Cambodia in this crucible of conflict? Will its people finally recognize the folly of their leadership? Welcome to B21 Raider, the YouTube channel where conflicts aren't merely narrated, they're dissected with the precision of a strategist, revealing the intricate dance of technology, power, and geopolitical ambition. Here, every battlefield lays bare the raw forces at play. Join us as we delve deep into the unfolding drama of a war that is reshaping Southeast Asia. In less than an hour, Thai warships transformed Cambodia's coastline into a nightmarish inferno of destruction. 4 main squadrons unleashed a meticulously synchronized barrage from multiple angles, striking with deadly precision that left no room for error. The formidable lineup included 2 Type 25 destroyers, upgraded with cutting-edge U.S. standard fire control systems in 2023 to enhance targeting accuracy, 3 Krabi-class missile corvettes, sleek, agile vessels boasting 30-knot speeds and pinpoint weaponry, and the versatile amphibious assault ship HTMS Ong Thong, carrying nearly 90 Royal Thai Marine Commandos and a contingent of locally built armed helicopters. Their primary targets were the military strongholds along the Kampot coast, the bustling Sihanoukville port, and the strategically vital Reem naval base, a linchpin where Cambodia has absorbed years of Chinese-supplied weapons, radar systems, and logistical support. This was no haphazard strike. It was a calculated assault with a clear purpose. The Pacific Defense Strategy Institute labels this operation as a deliberate effort to blind Beijing's surveillance network across Indochina. The Reem Naval Base, a cornerstone of Chinese investment worth over $3.2 billion, boasted state-of-the-art docks, advanced control radars, and its sprawling logistics hub, now reduced to a smoldering wasteland. Thai destroyers unleashed 127mm naval guns in angled salvos, systematically demolishing radar stations, supply depots, and anchored warships with ruthless efficiency. In a mere 8 minutes, civilian satellite imagery captured the aftermath. 3 logistics depots consumed by towering flames. 2 Cambodian Stenka-class patrol boats swallowed by the depths, their hulls shattered beyond recognition. A widely shared social media image depicts black smoke rising ominously higher than the hills behind the port, a stark visual of the devastation wrought upon Cambodia's coastline. The country's Chinese-supplied coastal defenses, once heralded as a formidable shield, were rendered useless in a single, devastating volley. How did Thailand achieve such surgical precision? The answer lies in the discreet yet decisive support from the United States. According to a detailed report in the Washington Post, U.S. military advisors had been stationed at Thailand's Utapao base 2 days prior to the assault. They didn't pull triggers or lead charges, but provided real-time targeting data from low-orbit LEO satellites, allowing Thai squadrons to lock onto objectives with pinpoint accuracy, their strikes deviating by less than a meter. No American soldiers set foot on the battlefield, yet the unmistakable signature of U.S. technological prowess was etched into every successful hit. President Donald Trump, in a 2023 address, famously declared, "We don't send troops, we send technology." That bold statement has now materialized into a transformative reality across Southeast Asia, redefining the nature of modern warfare. This opening naval strike wasn't merely a symbolic gesture, it was a crippling blow, delivered not just through the sheer force of artillery, but through the sophisticated application of a NATO-style maritime warfare strategy. Thailand didn't act on instinct or emotion. They executed a plan with the precision of a seasoned tactician. This mirrors the U.S. approach during the 2011 Libya campaign, a preemptive sea assault to neutralize logistical networks, followed by a coastal lockdown to set the stage for devastating airstrikes. This dual-axis strategy is now fully engaged, with the next chapter of this conflict poised to unfold in the skies and beyond. Let's pause to consider the element of surprise, a factor that left Cambodia reeling. The nation was utterly blindsided, displaying no prior indication of preparing for a naval onslaught of this magnitude. Their naval forces, frail and outdated, were powerless to mount a defense. The sole remaining frigate, a Chinese-supplied Hainan class vessel, never had a chance to reach open water. It was struck by a relentless rocket salvo from a Krabi-class corvette and sank in a mere 3 minutes, its crew scrambling in vain. Cambodia's naval command in Kampot lost all communication, descending into chaos as soldiers abandoned their posts, leaving radar systems to operate in isolation before being reduced to rubble. The once confident coastal defenses, built on promises of Chinese invincibility, crumbled under the weight of Thailand's unrelenting assault. But the Thai offensive didn't stop at long-range firepower. Marine commandos from the HTMS Ang Thong launched a bold and rapid amphibious landing on an unmanned coastal strip near Reem, deploying UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters transferred by the U.S. in 2019. Their mission wasn't to engage in open combat, but to execute a surgical strike, seizing encrypted communication devices and critical data drives from Cambodia's operations center. This move carries profound implications. Cambodia had relied heavily on Chinese-supplied encryption systems for its internal communications. If Thailand and the U.S. succeed in decrypting these devices, the fallout will extend far beyond a military setback, delivering a strategic blow to Beijing by exposing its classified communication protocols. The raid, completed with clockwork precision in under 20 minutes, left Cambodia's command structure in tatters, with Thai forces withdrawing under the cover of night, their objectives secured and the seeds of a larger intelligence victory planted. This conflict reveals a stark contrast on the battlefield. It's not just Thailand versus Cambodia, but a clash between Western military doctrine and China's model of support. On one side, a force armed with coordinated, high-tech, multi-axis warfare. On the other, a nation dependent on donated weapons and antiquated defensive systems. Out on the open sea, Cambodia finds itself with no retreat, its vulnerabilities exposed for the world to see. What of China in this escalating drama? Remarkably, Beijing has maintained an eerie silence. No official protests, no warships dispatched from Hainan into the South China Sea to challenge the incursion. All indicators suggest that China was either caught flat-footed by the assault or is deliberately steering clear of a direct confrontation with the United States through its ally, Thailand. Could this be the clearest sign yet that America has seized the strategic upper hand in this region? Once again, the name of Donald Trump rises to prominence, not merely as the current U.S. president, but as the visionary behind a revitalized Southeast Asian defense strategy launched in 2023. His approach has proven its mettle. No need for a full-scale war, just the strategic deployment of cutting-edge technology to the right partner at the perfect moment, allowing allies like Thailand to take center stage. What are your thoughts on Thailand's opening salvo? Is this a calculated counterstrike, Or does it serve as a stark warning directed at China? Can Cambodia muster the strength to hold its ground, or is it destined to collapse before it can mount a meaningful response? As the naval assault concluded, southern Cambodia's battlefields remained ablaze, with thick smoke still rising from the ruins of Ream and Kampot's military installations. Yet, the theater of war shifted dramatically as a new threat materialized from the skies. 4 F-16 Fighting Falcons of the Royal Thai Air Force roared into action for a second wave, launching from Korat Air Base in a disciplined diamond formation, maintaining a tactical altitude of 9,000 meters along a northwest-southeast attack axis. Their objectives were clear and ruthless: command centers, missile depots, and Chinese-supplied drone control stations scattered across Battambang, Pursat, and the western outskirts of Phnom Penh. This was no mere warning. It was a mission of total annihilation. Detailed intelligence from Pentagon documents, shared with the Tokyo Strategic Research Institute, reveals that the Thai F-16s employed a devastating combination of precision-guided munitions. The JDAM GBU-31 smart bombs, equipped with GPS guidance, were designed to penetrate and destroy underground bunkers with unerring accuracy, while the AGM-158 JASSM fire-and-forget missiles, capable of striking targets beyond the reach of Cambodia's radar systems, ensured the attackers remained safely out of harm's way. Every target coordinate was predetermined by U.S. military satellites orbiting at low altitude, enabling Thai pilots to deliver strikes with meter-level precision without venturing into hostile airspace. Cambodia was left with no time to react, its defenses overwhelmed by the speed and sophistication of the assault. Commercial satellite footage paints a grim picture of the destruction. A major logistics depot north of Pursat exploded into a fireball at 6:17 a.m., the shockwave rippling through the surrounding area. Just 2 minutes later, a forward command base near Battambang was obliterated by a barrage of guided bombs, with flames leaping 60 meters into the air and consuming over 3 hectares of terrain. In the western outskirts of Phnom Penh, a suspected drone control center, heavily reliant on Chinese funding and technology, was reduced to a heap of smoking debris, the air filled with the anguished cries of civilians fleeing the carnage. The scale of devastation was staggering as Cambodia's military infrastructure buckled under the relentless precision of Thailand's aerial campaign. How did Thailand orchestrate such a sophisticated air operation? The answer lies in the advanced battlefield command and control system provided by the United States. Since late 2023, under a bilateral defense agreement championed by President Donald Trump, the U.S. has installed the Link 16 system at Thai air bases, creating a seamless network that integrates real-time data from satellites, radars, pilots, and ground command centers. Even in the face of electronic jamming attempts, Thai aircraft received uninterrupted target data, a technological edge that neither Cambodia nor China can match. Modern warfare transcends mere firepower. It hinges on the seamless fusion of data, velocity, and pinpoint accuracy. The United States holds dominion over this critical domain, and Thailand is now leveraging that advantage to devastating effect. Thailand's strategy wasn't a solitary endeavor. It embodies a new paradigm of warfare, where the U.S. provides the technological backbone, and allies like Thailand wield the cutting edge. In under 25 minutes from takeoff, the F-16s obliterated 9 major targets with clinical efficiency. Cambodia's Chinese-supplied HQ-7 air defense systems, relics of a bygone era, proved incapable of detecting the long-range strikes, their limitations exposed for all to see. An anonymous official from Cambodia's defense ministry, speaking to Singaporean media under the cloak of anonymity, confessed, "We didn't see the planes, just the ground trembling. Then everything went dark." This operation was a flawless replication of the U.S.'s stealth preemption doctrine, a tactic honed through conflicts in Iraq, Syria, and Libya, now unleashed with devastating precision in Southeast Asia. Why did Thailand dare to strike with such boldness? The answer lies in their calculated assessment. China would not intervene, and Cambodia had maneuvered itself into a position where a counterattack was all but impossible. Logistics were depleted, radar installations lay in ruins, and aircraft were detected and neutralized before they could even take flight. Cambodia's air defenses were reduced to a symbolic facade, incapable of mounting any meaningful resistance. The Thai Air Force maintained unchallenged dominance of the skies for over 4 hours, a period during which U.S.-Turkish Bayraktar TB-2 drones patrolled Cambodian airspace with impunity. These unmanned aerial vehicles locked onto targets, guided laser strikes with surgical accuracy, and meticulously documented the aftermath of the assault. Drone footage revealed a military facility near Phnom Penh, believed to house Chinese-supplied tactical ballistic missiles, now reduced to a smoldering pile of wreckage, a potent symbol of Cambodia's shattered military ambitions. This turn of events forced China to break its prolonged silence, though not with the defiance one might expect. Instead of issuing condemnations or deploying forces, Beijing opted to recall its technical advisors from Cambodia, a stark indication that it was withdrawing from this geopolitical chessboard. Meanwhile, the Cambodian populace took to the streets, their anger erupting into a tidal wave of unrest. Within 24 hours of the devastating airstrikes, protests erupted across Phnom Penh, Siem Reap, and Battambang, with thousands of voices rising in unison, chanting, "We won't be cannon fodder for foreign schemes. Cambodia isn't Beijing's testing ground for weapons." The streets became a battleground of their own as crowds filled city squares, their banners waving defiantly with messages like, "Cambodia is not a pawn." This wasn't merely a reaction to the military defeat. It was a full-throated rebellion against a regime accused of dragging the nation into ruin by clinging to Chinese patronage. The air was thick with emotion, as ordinary citizens demanded an end to Hun Sen's rule, their cries reverberating through the night. Once again, the name of Donald Trump emerges as a central figure in this unfolding saga, not because he stands on the battlefield, but because he has revitalized the enhanced Southeast Asia Partnership, a policy that languished under previous administrations. Under his stewardship, America didn't simply return to the region, it returned with a force unmatched by any adversary. The relentless speed of technological advancement, the unerring precision of its weaponry, and the absolute initiative of strategic dominance. When an enemy cannot see who is targeting them, when they cannot react before their assets are erased from the map, that is the most dangerous weapon of all. Thailand, the sole regional nation granted access to this unparalleled might, has demonstrated that it can wield this power with the same effectiveness as any U.S. ally in Europe, turning the tide of conflict with surgical strikes and unassailable technology. But what remains of Cambodia's capacity to resist after Thailand's twin assaults from sea and air? Can Hun Sen maintain his grip on power amid the mounting pressure from within and without? And what of China? Will it continue its retreat from the region? Or is this silence a prelude to a more cunning and dangerous countermove? The true climax of this conflict was yet to unfold. As Cambodia struggled to sift through the rubble of its devastated military installations, a new and formidable presence emerged on the horizon. At Thailand's U Tapao Air Base, a fleet of U.S.-flagged C-17 Globemaster III transports descended with a thunderous roar, their engines sending shockwaves through the region. No shots were fired, yet the sheer arrival of these aircraft shifted the strategic landscape in an instant, signaling a new phase in the conflict. Within 72 hours of Thailand's F-16 airstrikes, the U.S. Air Force executed a sweeping deployment, bringing 12 F-35A Lightning II stealth fighters, the iconic B-2 Spirit strategic bombers, and a prototype F-47 Spectre, the first sixth-generation fighter to be tested operationally in Southeast Asia. Complementing this aerial might were 4 Patriot PAC-3 air defense systems and AN/TPY-2 early warning radars, strategically positioned along a defensive line stretching from Korat to the Laos border. No official statement emerged from the White House, but intelligence circles in the West understood the unspoken message. This was not merely support for Thailand. It was a direct and uncompromising ultimatum to Beijing, a declaration of America's intent to reshape the regional power dynamics. Why the F-35 and B-2? These are not just aircraft. They are strategic emissaries that no nation can overlook. The F-35, often dubbed the Digital Ghost, integrates advanced AISA radar, unparalleled stealth capabilities, and seamless Link 16 connectivity, making it a phantom that regional defenses cannot hope to detect or counter. The B-2 Spirit, a legendary symbol of U.S. air power, boasts the ability to fly from Hawaii to Thailand without refueling, its payload including the 13.6-ton GBU-57 bunker-busting bombs designed to obliterate targets buried 60 meters underground. The F-47 Spectre, still shrouded in partial secrecy but detailed in Defense Update, represents a leap forward as a sixth-generation fighter, capable of commanding wingman drones in real-time combat scenarios, a technological marvel that redefines aerial warfare. President Donald Trump does not resort to the mass troop deployments of the Cold War era. Instead, he wields technology as a weapon of intimidation, leveraging America's unmatched military precision to exert pressure on adversaries without firing a single shot. This is the mechanism by which he asserts dominance over China, a silent yet overwhelming force that reshapes the battlefield from afar. 6 hours after the F-35's touchdown at Utapao, China responded with a hasty recall of its ambassador from Thailand, demanding clarification on the strategic deployments encroaching upon its sphere of influence. Both Thailand and the U.S. maintained a deliberate silence, refusing to engage in diplomatic posturing. However, within hours, commercial satellite imagery unveiled a new development. A U.S. M985 rocket battalion had materialized near Korat Air Base, accompanied by 2 CH-47 Chinook helicopters transporting long-range AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles. This formidable convoy was escorted by 8 Thai-flagged armored transports to an undisclosed staging point, a move that transcended mere support and signaled a high-level integration of U.S. and Thai military capabilities. This alliance is fundamentally altering the balance of power across Southeast Asia, setting the stage for a new era of dominance. The Australia Defence Analysis Centre provides a sobering assessment. The B-2 Spirit possesses the capability to destroy any underground military facility in Cambodia without detection, its stealth rendering it invisible to enemy sensors. The F-35, with a mere 3 hours of daily patrol, is sufficient to neutralize the radar systems of both Cambodia and China, leaving them blind and vulnerable. Beijing now faces a strategic conundrum. To protest would require explaining its provision of arms to Cambodia for use against Thailand, a politically explosive admission. To remain silent is to concede a diminishing grip on the region. It's a dilemma with no favorable outcome, a checkmate imposed by American ingenuity. The United States doesn't rely solely on technological superiority. It deploys a multi-layered deterrence strategy that extends far beyond the battlefield. In the South China Sea, the USS America Carrier Strike Group adjusted its course, inching closer to the southwest as a silent but potent warning. In Guam, the THAAD missile defense system was elevated to Alert Level 2, poised to counter any potential escalation. In Japan and the Philippines, ground-based radars were recalibrated to maintain constant surveillance over the entire Indochina peninsula, their sensors trained on Cambodia's every move. The nation finds itself encircled, its options dwindling to nothing. In the heart of Phnom Penh, the Cambodian government issued an emergency broadcast announcing a temporary cessation of counterattacks and expressing willingness to engage in dialogue, a thinly veiled admission of surrender. Yet, before any negotiations could commence, the Cambodian people unleashed their pent-up fury. Protests erupted with ferocious intensity across Siem Reap, Kampot, and the bustling center of Phnom Penh, with crowds swelling into the thousands, their voices a thunderous chorus. "We won't die for China's strategy. Cambodia isn't a pawn in anyone's game." The city squares transformed into arenas of defiance as banners fluttered in the air with messages like "End Hun Sen's rule" and "Cambodia stands alone." This wasn't just a response to the military defeat. It was a full-scale revolt against a regime accused of bartering the nation's sovereignty to Beijing, pushing it to the brink of collapse. The streets vibrated with raw emotion as citizens from all walks of life demanded a new future, their cries piercing the night air. International analysts are quick to note that Trump's strategy extends far beyond the military sphere. He hasn't merely targeted Cambodia's combat capabilities. He has struck at the very confidence of China's allied nations, positioning the United States as the unrivaled hub of military and technological prowess. He has engineered a model of guided sovereignty defense, where allies like Thailand act with decisive boldness, secure in the knowledge that America provides the unassailable backing. This is the reason behind the newfound assertiveness of nations like the Philippines, Japan, South Korea, and now Thailand. They move with confidence, unhindered by the need for approval, knowing the might of the U.S. stands behind them. Can Cambodia withstand this onslaught? Will China persist in its retreat? Or is this silence a harbinger of a more insidious countermove? Will this crisis irrevocably redraw the geopolitical map of Southeast Asia, as F-35s continue to circle the skies above western Phnom Penh, and the resonant hum of B-2 Spirit engines lingers over Cambodia's abandoned military outposts? A new force is surging forth, not from the depths of the sea or the heights of the sky, but from the very soul of the land, from the hearts of millions of Cambodians who refuse to be silenced. For the first time in nearly 40 years of iron-fisted rule, Hun Sen confronts a power he cannot subdue with force or firearms, the unyielding rebellion of his own people. From the bustling streets of Phnom Penh to the historic city of Siem Reap, the resilient town of Battambang, and the remote provinces of Krabi and Stung Treng, protests have spread like wildfire, fueled by a potent mix of desperation and defiance. What began as small clusters of individuals clutching handwritten banners has blossomed into tens of thousands, marching in unison, their chants shaking the foundations of the nation. This isn't our war. We won't die for China's weapons. Hun Sen must resign. The rebellion transcends the civilian sphere. Deep fissures are emerging within the very fabric of the regime. According to a confidential report from Human Rights Monitor Asia, by July 8, 2025, 1/3 of district chiefs in Cambodia's western border provinces have refused to enforce militia mobilization orders, breaking ranks with the government. Provincial officials, once unwavering in their loyalty to Hun Sen, have begun to publicly advocate for dialogue over continued conflict, their voices adding to the growing chorus of dissent. Even within the military, some commanders have quietly withdrawn their troops from the front lines, unwilling to sacrifice their soldiers in a losing cause. The fracture isn't confined to the borders. It is tearing through the heart of Cambodia's political system, threatening to dismantle decades of Hun Sen's authoritarian control. What has triggered this rapid and profound shift? Three critical factors converge to explain this seismic change. First, the overwhelming despair that gripped the populace following Thailand's devastating twin strikes. No one could have anticipated that military bases, bolstered by billions in Chinese investment, would collapse in under 3 days. The Cambodian people awoke to a harsh reality. Their government had placed its faith in a foreign shield that proved incapable of protecting them when the crucible of war arrived. Second, the undeniable presence of American might. F-35s landing with precision at Utapao, B-2 Spirits slicing through the Thai dusk, and international headlines trumpeting the debut of the first sixth-generation fighter in Southeast Asia, drove home the point that Cambodia was pitted against a coalition so formidable that even Beijing hesitated to challenge it. If China remains mute, the Cambodian people will not. The third, and perhaps most deeply rooted reason, is the long-simmering resentment that has festered for decades. The war served as the spark, but the policies of Hun Sen's regime, marked by 3 decades of family dominance, constitutional manipulation, and an over-reliance on Chinese support, have become the central target of public outrage. A poignant Reuters report captured the sentiment of a protester in Siem Reap. If China weren't propping him up, would Hun Sen dare to confront Thailand? His children live in luxury abroad, while ours perish on the battlefield. This single statement encapsulates the profound disillusionment of a nation that has lost faith in its leader. Can Hun Sen retain control over his fractured nation? The tide of evidence suggests otherwise. Within a mere 24 hours of the protests' widespread escalation, Cambodia's prime minister issued a public declaration, announcing a ceasefire and opening channels for dialogue with Thailand, the first instance in which his regime has relinquished its hardline stance since the conflict's outbreak. It wasn't the precision of Thai missiles that forced this retreat. It was the unrelenting pressure of his own people, their collective will drowning out the sounds of war with demands for change. Yet, stepping back does not guarantee Hun Sen's survival. Diplomatic sources within ASEAN have revealed that 2 opposition factions in Cambodia are discreetly collaborating with international organizations based in Singapore and Indonesia, crafting a blueprint for a transitional government under the subtle but firm influence of the United States and Western allies. The Cambodian military, long a bastion of loyalty to Hun Sen, is showing signs of fracture, with mid-level commanders reaching out to UN representatives in search of a resolution to the escalating crisis. The United States remains the linchpin of this unfolding drama, not through the barrel of a gun, but through a masterful orchestration of military might, political maneuvering, media influence, and legal pressure. Donald Trump, widely regarded as the architect of Southeast Asia's geopolitical restructuring, has transformed a localized skirmish into a pivotal lever for regional dominance. America need not engage in direct combat. It equips the right ally with the right technology at the right moment, allowing Washington's strategic vision to unfold through the actions of partners like Thailand. A French military analyst featured on LCI offered a perceptive commentary. Trump didn't simply send weapons to Thailand. He delivered a multi-layered framework for shifting power dynamics. Cambodia stands as the first casualty of this approach, but it is unlikely to be the last. Thailand, cast in the role of the lead ally, holds its ground without overextending, guided by the understanding that the greatest victory lies not in the conquest of territory, but in turning the hearts and minds of the enemy's people against their own leadership. Their US-backed campaign has achieved precisely that. Without the need to occupy Phnom Penh or launch a full-scale invasion of Cambodia, they have compelled Hun Sen's retreat and forced China to turn its gaze away from the region. What does the future hold? Will Cambodia plunge into a vortex of political instability? Could the emergence of a pro-Western government signal a new dawn for the nation? Is this merely the opening gambit in a long-term strategy to sever China's stranglehold on Indochina? These questions linger in the air, unanswered, but pressing. One certainty stands out. Under the leadership of Donald Trump, America has reaffirmed its role as the author of Southeast Asia's future narrative. Should China fail to adapt its approach, it may find its closest allies continuing to fall, one after another, under the weight of this unrelenting American strategy. Thank you for joining us on this comprehensive journey through the unfolding drama of this war. If you are passionate about geopolitics, the intricacies of military strategy, and the hidden forces shaping the battlefields of the world, B-21 Raider is your destination. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on the latest developments and share your insights in the comments below. What lies ahead for Cambodia? Will China muster a response, or has America already secured victory in this round?